we're going to explain how to fix the plugin with ID dev.flutter.flutter-plugin-loader not found error in Flutter. This error typically arises from issues with your Flutter installation, project setup, or Android Studio configuration. Let's break down the troubleshooting steps. 1. Check Flutter installation. First, ensure Flutter is correctly installed and added to your system's path environment variable. You can verify this by running Flutter, version in your terminal or command prompt. If Flutter isn't found, you'll need to reinstall it, making sure to follow the official Flutter documentation carefully and correctly setting up the environment variables. A common mistake is forgetting to add Flutter to your path. 2. Flutter Doctor. Run Flutter Doctor in your terminal. This command checks your Flutter setup for any problems. Pay close attention to the output. It will highlight any errors, warnings, or missing components. Address any issues it identifies. This might involve installing missing Android SDK components, setting up your Android environment correctly, or fixing problems with your Android Studio installation. 3. Clean and rebuild the project. A simple but often effective solution is to clean and rebuild your Flutter project. In your terminal, navigate to your project's root directory and run flutter clean followed by flutter pub get and then flutter run. Cleaning removes build artifacts that might be causing conflicts. Flutter pub get fetches the necessary packages, and flutter run rebuilds and runs your application. 4. Check Android Studio setup. Ensure your Android Studio is properly configured for Flutter development. You need the necessary Android SDK platforms and build tools installed. Check the Android SDK Manager within Android Studio to see if anything is missing or needs updating. Make sure you've selected the correct Android SDK version compatible with your Flutter project. 5. Invalidate caches, restart. Sometimes, Android Studio's caches can become corrupted. In Android Studio, go to File Invalidate Caches, Restart, and select Invalidate and Restart. This forces Android Studio to refresh its internal state, resolving potential conflicts. 6. Check your write single quote pubspec.yaml. Review your write single quote pubspec.yaml write single quote file. Ensure that all dependencies are correctly listed and that there are no syntax errors. If you've recently added or removed packages, double-check that they're correctly declared. After making any changes, run flutter pub get again to refresh the package list. 7. Upgrade Flutter and packages. Running Flutter Upgrade updates your Flutter SDK to the latest version, which might contain fixes for the bug you're encountering. Similarly, make sure your dependencies are up to date by running Flutter Pub Upgrade. Newer versions often include bug fixes and performance improvements. 8. Check for conflicting packages. Rarely, conflicts between packages can lead to this error. If you've recently added packages, try temporarily removing them one by one to see if any are causing the issue. 9. Create a new project. If none of the above steps work, creating a completely new Flutter project can help determine if the problem lies within your specific project's configuration or a broader issue with your Flutter setup. If the new project works fine, you can then try to gradually transfer components from your original project to the new one to pinpoint the problematic area. 10. Check the logs. Android Studio usually logs detailed build information. Look for any error messages related to plugin loading. This might provide clues about the underlying problem. The log files often contain much more detail about errors than what's simply displayed in the terminal.